Somehow in this country, sea thoughts follow the thinker far inland, whereas in most other parts of the island, at 5 miles from the ocean, he has all but forgotten the existence of such an element as salt water. It was a pretty scene, though it was too familiar to the eyes of all who saw it for them to notice its beauty. The sun was low enough in the west to turn the mist that filled the distant valley of the river into golden haze. Above, on either bank of the Dee, there lay the moorland heights, swelling one behind the other. The nearer, russet brown with the tints of the fading bracken, the more distant, gray and dim against the rich autumnal sky. The red and fluted tiles of the gabled houses rose in crowded irregularity on one side of the river, while the newer suburb was built in more orderly and less picturesque fashion on the opposite cliff. The river itself was swelling and chafing with the incoming tide, till its vexed waters rushed over the very feet of the watching crowd on the stays, as the great sea waves encroached more and more every minute. The quay side was unsavory, ornamented with glittering fish scales, for the hauls of fish were cleansed in the open air, and no sanitary arrangements existed for sweeping away any of the relics of this operation. Sylvia had noted the watching not 3 minutes before, and many a time in her afterlife, when no one cared much for her outgoings and incomings, the straight, upright figure of her mother, fronting the setting sun but searching through its blinding rays for a sight of her child, rose up like a sudden-seen picture, the remembrance of which smote Sylvia to the heart with a sense of a lost blessing, not duly valued while possessed. People speak of the way in which harp playing sets off a graceful figure. Spinning is almost as becoming an employment. A woman stands at the great wood wheel, one arm extended, the other holding the thread, her head thrown back to take in all the scope of her occupation. Or, if it is the lesser spinning wheel for flax, and it was this that Sylvia moved forwards tonight, the pretty sound of the buzzing, whirring motion, the attitude of the spinner, foot and hand alike engaged in the business. The bunch of gay-colored ribbon that ties the bundle of flax on the rock all make it into a picturesque piece of domestic business that may rival harp playing any day for the amount of softness and grace which it calls out. And so, overlooking both the busy, crowded little town, the port, the shipping, and the bar on the one hand, and the wide, illimitable, tranquil sea on the other, types of life and eternity. The weather cleared up into a dim kind of autumnal fineness, into anything but an Indian summer as far as regarded gorgeousness of coloring. For on that coast the mists and sea fogs early spoil the brilliancy of the foliage. Yet perhaps the more did the silvery grays and browns of the inland scenery conduce to the tranquility of time, the time of peace and rest, before the fierce and stormy winter comes on. It seems a time for gathering up human forces to encounter the coming severity, as well as of storing up the produce of harvest for the needs of winter. Old people turn out and sun themselves in that calm St. Martin's summer, without fear of the heat of the sun or the coming winter's rages, and we may read in their pensive, dreamy eyes that they are weaning themselves away from the earth, which probably many may never see dressed in her summer glory again. The loud, monotonous murmur of the advancing and receding waters lulled him into dreaminess. The sunny look of everything tinged his daydreams with hope. The air was soft as May. Right overhead the sky was blue, but it deadened into gray near the sea lines. Flocks of seagulls hovered about the edge of the waves, slowly rising and turning their white underplumage to glimmer in the sunlight as Philip approached. The whole scene was so peaceful, so soothing, that it dispelled the cares and fears which had weighed down on his heart during the dark hours of the past night. She was a star, the brightness of which was only recognized in times of darkness. A spicy odor lingers in the heated air. It comes from the multitude of aromatic flowers that blossom in the early spring. Later on they will have withered and faded, and the corn will have been gathered, and the deep green of the eastern foliage will have assumed a kind of gray bleached tint. Even now in May, the hot sparkle of the everlasting sea, the terribly clear outline of all objects, whether near or distant, the fierce sun right overhead, the dazzling air around, were inexpressibly wearying to the English eyes that kept their skilled watch day and night on the strongly fortified coast town that lay out a little to the northward of where the British ships were anchored. Sylvia was thinking how strange life was, and how love seemed to go all at cross purposes, and was losing herself in bewilderment at the mystery of the world.